Watching online, good morning. We're glad that you're watching us. And just know that every person who is here, if you haven't been here for a while, if every person that is here, you bring your energy to this space and we create something unique and special together this morning. We have a few announcements. Okay, so the spring into summer barbecue and dance. I'm sorry I'm not going to be here for this. I'm going to miss another one. But the tickets are on sale now for $30. And it sounds like a great time. The Incontinentals are going to be playing, and we just love their music. And the barbecue, and just lots of fun. So that'll be great. So get your tickets today. The Mexico Condo Lottery. So I'm thinking that some people might be new and not know that what we ideally would like is for everyone to take an envelope of 10 tickets, buy some tickets yourself, and then you just need perhaps 3 other people. You must know 3 people, right? And that you could sell tickets to, because it's such a great prize. 2 weeks in a beautiful condo that's right across from the ocean. There are pools there. Sorry? Oh, and the cash, $1,000 cash that you can put, would probably pay for your airfare. And if you couldn't go, then you'd have the cash. So it's a great prize, and After the service today, there'll be someone at the table just inside the door, and you can pick up your envelope of tickets. If you pick up an envelope, please don't bring it back without them all sold. I'm going to put that out there. It's really disappointing. So either buy them or beg your friends and family. But really, it's such a great prize, and the odds are less than 1 in 400. And so, yeah, the odds are great. So I hope that you support that. The money from that condo lottery pays for, or in part, our music program. So every year we really rely on that to up our music budget. Okay, so happy Mother's Day, and we have a tribute, and you can look at these pictures. You'll see some familiar faces and maybe some not, because they're maybe younger than they are today. Maybe you won't recognize them, but here we go.
Okay, now you can put it up.
Oh boy.
song today. You've heard this before, perhaps not this version. This song actually was debuted 99 years ago today. It's a song, a hymn from the 1800s. The melody is an old melody called St. Catherine's. But you've heard the original lyrics, and then in 1920, an American minister named Reverend Patton rewrote them for Mother's Day, and we'd like to do it for you today. You know the song, so just jump right in. You'd think you don't, but you do. Maybe. Faith of our mothers living still in cradle song and bedtime prayer, in nursery lore and fireside love, your presence still pervades the air. Faith of our mothers living faith, we will be true to you always. Faith of our mothers living faith, fount of our childhood's trust and grace. Oh, may your consecration prove source of a finer, nobler race. Faith of our mothers living faith, we will be true to you always. Faith of our mothers guiding faith, for youthful longing, youthful doubt. How blurred our vision, how blind our way, your providential care without. Faith of our mothers living faith, we will be true to you always. Faith of our mothers living faith, in truth beyond any stumbling creed, serving the family and saving by grace, sharing through spirit and meeting our needs. Faith of our mothers living faith, we will be true to you always.
Morning. Unity's foundation, as you know, is affirmative prayer. If you wish prayer for someone else or for yourself, you are invited to use our prayer box, just up here in the front. Put a first name only on a piece of paper, place it in the box. No need to explain the situation, as the divine is all-knowing. It will be prayed over here at Unity by our prayer angels for 30 days and then sent on to Unity, Silent Unity, for additional prayer. Remember, 24 hours a day you can call 1-800-NOW-PRAY to reach Silent Unity, where people have been praying with and for people for over 130 years. If you wish private one-on-one prayer, we have a prayer chaplain available to pray with you following today's service. You can meet our prayer chaplain in our prayer room, just through the doorway and up to the front. Our prayer chaplain for today is Sylvia. I would invite our minister to come forward today to lead us in prayer.
Good morning. So let's just go to our heart space. So this morning we hold in prayer all spiritual gatherings that are occurring at this moment, knowing that there are many paths, but one God, one all that is, one energy that creates everything. We hold in prayer all Unity gatherings. We bless Unity Canada in their work for unity. And this morning we want to hold in prayer especially Maeve and Jamie Armstrong Harris and their family, as their son Josh left his body and just the other day, and so they are grieving the loss of their oldest son. And so we hold them in prayer, knowing that Josh has just made his transition to a different experience of life. And we bless his parents and his family as they begin that difficult journey of having a new relationship with him. Blessing and being grateful for the son that he was, for the lessons they learned from him and he from them. And so we bless them as they go forth into this experience. And I invite you to speak the name of anyone that you would like us to hold in prayer into this space now. Just whisper that. And we hold the names of all those that have been spoken in prayer and the names of those that are on our heart, knowing that God is fully present in their lives, doing all that God can do. But we allow ourselves for that Spirit of God to move through us into our life experiences, to uplift and affirm, to bless and love. All answers can be found within all that is, as we open up to that presence and power within us. And so we pray all these things in the name and through the nature of the living and loving Christ presence. And we say amen.
And now a message from our daily word brought to you by Silent Unity. Motherly love. I give thanks for the motherly love of God in all its human expressions. Unity co-founder Myrtle Fillmore has been called the mother of Unity. Myrtle wrote, "It is my great joy to perceive somewhat of the mother side of God, the divine love that never fails. In prayer, I bless all who have played a motherly role in my life, not just the mother whose love gave me birth. I bless everyone, male or female, who has shared with me the divine love that never fails. Everyone who has nurtured me, who has encouraged me by believing in my potential for good, has blessed me with the motherly love of God. Just as I have received, I give love in return, sharing comfort and understanding. I am grateful to be an expression of a motherly love. As a mother comforts her child, so I will comfort you. You shall be comforted in Jerusalem." Isaiah chapter 66, verse 13.
Ladies and gentlemen, we have special guests with us today who are making their way to the podium, as the man said. Two individuals who need no introduction. So, ladies and gentlemen, here they are, Jake and Julie.
This one is for mothers and mother figures, or the Divine Mother, or however you like to see it.
about mothers. What ingredients are mothers made of? God makes mothers out of clouds and angel hair and everything nice in the world. And one dab of mean. What kind of little girl was your mom? I don't know because I wasn't there, but my guess is she was pretty bossy. What's the difference between mums and dads? Mums know how to talk to teachers without scaring them. What does your mom do in her spare time? My mom doesn't have spare time. If you could change one thing about your mom, what would it be? Well, she has this weird thing about me keeping my room clean. I'd like her to get rid of that. And this is my favorite, and the last one. Why did your mom marry your dad? My grandma says that my mom didn't have her thinking cap on. Oh, yeah. Okay. Thomas Edison wrote a tribute to his mother, and he wrote, "I did not have my mother long, but she cast over me an influence that lasted all my life. The good effects of her early training I can never lose. If it had not been for her appreciation and her faith in me at a critical time in my experience, I would never likely have become an inventor. I was always a careless boy, and with a mother of different mental caliber, I would have turned out badly. But her firmness, her sweetness, her goodness were potent powers to keep me on the right path. My mother was the making of me. The memory of her will always be a blessing to me." Some of you here might feel that your mother is a blessing to you, and others of you may not. Today is the day for us to really embrace the idea that our mothers, just like anybody, does the very best they can. And if you're thinking, well, that wasn't very good, her best was not the best, it was pretty bad, then we can maybe remember and open our hearts and have compassion and know that our mothers are spiritual beings on a journey, on a path, the same as we are. That we are their teachers and they are our teachers. That out of the good and the bad, there are always blessings from everything that we learn. If your mom is not still an embodiment, then it's not too late to offer forgiveness in the relationship and to know that she can hear you. I'm not sure how many of you heard this when you were growing up, but my mom would sometimes say, "Just wait till you have kids. You're going to know what that's like." Anyone else? Well, I did have a child, one child, and I became a mother, and I can remember the day when I was talking to my daughter Jennifer, and this voice in my head said, "You're sounding exactly like your mother." And so it came full circle. And in that moment, I came to realize that my mother, I could really bless her and really feel appreciation for who she was more than before. Because at that moment I realized, oh, yeah, it wasn't so easy. And I really want to talk to all the women today, whether you gave birth to a child or not, because I believe we all women mother. If we don't mother our furry animals, then maybe we've mothered our brothers or sisters, children, our nieces and nephews. Maybe we've mothered the neighborhood kids. This power of love, the special love that mothers have and their special wisdom is present in us, but it's not always appreciated. And I know this because our opinions of our mothers change over our life. And amazingly, they come full circle, which is kind of cool. So here's what it sounds like. At 4 years of age, my mummy could do anything. At 8 years, my mum knows a lot. At 12, my mother doesn't really know quite everything. At 14, naturally, mother doesn't know about that either. At 16, mother, she's hopelessly old-fashioned. 18, that old woman, she's way out of date. At 25, well, she might know a little bit about it. At 35, before we decide, let's get Mom's opinion. At 45, wonder what Mom would have thought about that. At 65, wish I could talk it over with Mom. When my daughter Jen was 7 years old, I gave her a book. And the inscription for the book was, "My darling Jennifer, it's true. I'll love you forever, Mommy." And I wanted to share this story with you. Some of you may know it, and others may not. A mother held her new baby and very slowly rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she held him, she sang, but I'm going to say it. "I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always. As long as you're living, my baby you'll be." That baby grew. He grew and he grew and he grew. He grew until he was 2 years old, and he ran all around the house. He pulled all the books off the shelves. He pulled all the food out of the refrigerator. He took his mother's watch and flushed it down the toilet. Sometimes his mother would say, "This kid is driving me crazy." But at nighttime, when that 2-year-old was quiet, she opened the door to his room, crawled across the floor, and looked up over the side of his bed. And if he was really asleep, she picked him up and rocked him back and forth, back and forth. And while she rocked him, she said, "I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always. As long as you're living, my baby you'll be." Well, that little boy grew. He grew and he grew and he grew. And he grew until he was 9 years old. And he never wanted to come in for dinner. He never wanted to take a bath. And when Grandma visited, he always said bad words. Sometimes his mother wanted to sell him to the zoo. But at nighttime, when he was asleep, the mother quietly opened the door to his room, crawled across the floor, and looked up over the side of the bed. If he was really asleep, she picked him up, that 9-year-old boy, and rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she rocked him, she said, "I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always. As long as I'm living, my baby you'll be." Well, the boy grew. He grew and he grew and he grew. He grew until he was a teenager. He had strange friends, and he wore strange clothes, and he listened to strange music. Sometimes the mother felt like she was in a zoo. But at nighttime, when that teenager was asleep, the mother opened the door to his room, crawled across the floor, and looked up over the side of the bed. If he was really asleep, she picked up that great big boy and rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she rocked him, she said, "I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always. As long as you're living, my baby you'll be." While that teenager grew, He grew and he grew and he grew, and he grew until he was a grown-up man. He left home and he got a house across town. But sometimes on dark nights, the mother got into her car and she drove across town. If all the lights in her son's house were out, she opened his bedroom window, crawled across the floor, and looked up over the side of his bed. And if that great big man was really asleep, she picked him up and rocked him back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And while she rocked him, she said, "I'll love you forever." You can join in. "I'll like you for always. As long as you're living, my baby you'll be." Well, that mother, she got older. She got older and older and older. And one day she called up her son and said, "You better come see me because I'm very old and sick." And her son came to see her. And when he came in the door, she tried to sing the song. But she said, "I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always." But she couldn't finish because she was too old and sick. The son went to his mother and he picked her up and he rocked her back and forth, back and forth, and back and forth. And he said to her, "I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always. As long as I'm living, my mummy you'll be." When the son came home that night, he stood for a long time at the top of the stairs. And then he went into the room where his new baby daughter was sleeping. He picked her up in his arms and very slowly rocked her back and forth, and back and forth, and back and forth. And as he rocked her, he said, "I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always. As long as you're living, my baby you'll be." My Jen is 38 years old. Hard to believe. And even today, every once in a while, I'll say that to her, and she'll say it back to me. I was never a perfect mom. If I could go back, I think I would do a number of things differently. Maybe you feel the same. However, if those things hadn't happened, she wouldn't have had the learnings and the lessons that she has. It's never too late to go back and improve relationships. You might think it is, but it never is. It's never too late to go back and say, "I'm sorry." It's never too late to go back and say and ask for a do-over. It's never too late to say, "I want this relationship to be better than it is." It's never too late. And it's never too late to look for forgiveness from our parents or to offer it to them. It's never too late for that. Even if your mom is not an embodiment, it's never too late to speak to her because she will hear you. That's a picture of us on a high-speed train in China. Yeah. The beauty of love is that it isn't just for humans. There's a story about a British officer who was stationed at a mission in India. And one afternoon, his wife was sitting outside and she was cradling her newborn babe. And a monkey came running along and just stopped at the path up to the house and gazed at her. Just sat and gazed at her. And then the monkey turned around and hurried away and ran up a tree and came back with its baby. And sat in that space where it had been before. And the two just sat there together in companionable silence. Author Diane Lumens writes, if I had a child to raise over again, I'd finger paint more and paint the finger less. I do less correcting and more connecting. I take my eyes off my watch and watch with my eyes. I would care to know less and know to care more. I take more hikes and fly more kites. I'd stop playing serious and seriously play. I'd run through the fields and gaze at more stars. I do more hugging and less tugging. I would be firm, but affirm much more. I build self-esteem first and the house later. I teach less about the love of power and more about the power of love. You and I are walking lovers. In other words, love is our very essence. I love that picture. Who's taking who for a walk there? Some mums can easily express their affection. Would you agree? And some have challenges expressing it. I know Bob's mum, they live in Toronto and we live in London. And whenever we would go to see her, it could be months since we'd seen her, we'd walk in the door and she never hugged you. Until I was in the family for a while, I brought hugs in because I thought, this is so weird. Walking in and seeing, I want a hug. But that's what Bob grew up with. He grew up with a mother that didn't do lots of hugging and kissing, but he knew he was loved. And maybe you had the same experience too. You know, our mums are the upbringing of their mums, and we probably mother like our mothers did, unless we're consciously aware that maybe we didn't like some aspects of how we were mothered, and so we might change that with our mothers. But today we want to see our mums with our spiritual eyes. We want to see them knowing that every mother does her very best. And even if her best might not be good enough in your opinion, then the gift you can give your mom today is the gift of forgiveness. The gift of forgiveness. To know that we can look at this person and know that we didn't know them as a young person. We didn't know what their dreams were, what their hopes were for life. And maybe when mom had a family and maybe a number of children and whatever the relationship with dad was, you know, we don't know what she was going through. And maybe her capability of mothering wasn't what it could have been, but she did her best. And for those of us that had mothers that were present and we know did their best, there's still probably some forgiveness work to do there because nobody is perfect. No one's perfect. So today you could pick up the phone and call mom, go visit mom, write mom a letter. If she's not still here on the earth, you can still write a letter and either burn it or just do some kind of a ritual to remember mom and be in gratitude for all that she did for you. Because after all, someone figured out that our mums have made over 35,000 meals, between 10,000 and 40,000 beds. They vacuumed a rug a mile long and 1/10 of a mile wide and cleaned over 7,000 plumbing fixtures. Now, if you're a mom here this morning and you're tired, now we know why. So really today the message is love. I'll love you forever. I'll like you for always. As long as I'm living. My mommy you'll be. My baby you'll be. My daughter's Mother's Day card for me this year read, being all grown up doesn't mean you don't need your mom. Yeah. So even though you raised me to be strong and independent, I still count on your friendship, your insight, and most of all, your love and care. And I bet your children would say the same. They never outgrow a need for mom. And so we're always working on that relationship. And so I invite you to continue to work on it and to know that you're doing your best. You did your best when they were young. You're doing your best now. We send them love. So let's take this into meditation. we sing.
Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel its mighty power and its grace. I can hear the brush of angels' wings, see glory on each face. Surely the presence of love is in this place. Surely the presence of love is in this place. I can feel its mighty power and its grace. I can hear the rush of angels' wings, see glory on each page. Surely the presence of love is in this place.
So I invite you to do whatever it is that you do that signals to your body, now I'm going to spend some time meditating. And we start with some cleansing breaths, breathing in and out, and in and out. So today is about mums, and we want to send our mums love wherever they are. So picture your mum in your mind's eye and just surround her with love. Say thanks, Mom. And then just place your hand on your heart. And women, you can just bless yourself for the mothering that you have done, for the gift of love and wisdom and kindness and compassion that you have shared with your children and many children along the way. You can forgive yourself for showing up as less than at some times, knowing that you are human. And having a spiritual experience in a human body can be challenging. But we just relax into knowing that we did our best. We did our best. And we can still do better. We can still build on our relationships, even with our moms that have passed. So let's just sit in the silence for a few moments and send out love into the greater world. Let's nurture all people everywhere. And we'll do that now. So we take a deep breath in and let it out. And feel that love. We're grateful for the love that we can both express and receive. And so it is. So let it be.
Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah,
Thank you, Lori, for that lovely lesson. Always loved that book. Now it's time for our giving and receiving our tithes and offerings. Our unity principles teach us we are one with God, source, and so we give not to source, but as source. Giving has been described as a spiritual practice of radical generosity, insofar as the intent is to be an extension of spirit, tithing to that which we wish to see flourish. Tithing as a source is God in expression. At the back of the sanctuary, you will find intention cards. These may also be placed in the offering bag. This week, our prayer angels will uphold your intentions for what you want to achieve, either as a plan for your day or your life. Let us now affirm our prosperity together by singing our offering blessing.
Divine love through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. And so it is. Ladies and gentlemen, our good friends, Jake and Julia.
Just before we play some music, someone in the congregation reminded me that perhaps I should let the congregation know that there's going to be a tribute event for our beloved Jake at Aeolian Hall on Saturday, June 22nd. And I believe the doors open at 6:30 and the event starts at 7:30. It's pay what you can. And the proceeds after the rental of the hall go to the Belong to Song program that Jake is a mentor and workshop leader for. So if anyone is interested in going, please feel free to come. And again, that's the 22nd of June, Saturday. It's a tribute event. There is a bit of music and a lot of people speaking to what Jake has been to them. So, song from the other side. In my child's eyes, I was sent to rescue me. I see who I want to be in my child's eyes. In my child's eyes, everyone is equal. Darkness turns to light, and the world is at peace. This miracle life gave to me gives me strength when I am weak. I find reason to believe in my child's eyes. And he wraps his hand around my finger, oh, he puts a smile in my heart. Everything becomes a little clearer. I realize what life is all about. It's hanging on when your heart has had enough. It's giving more when you feel like giving up. I see the truth, it's in my child's eyes. In my child's eyes, I can see the future, a reflection of who I am and what will be. Though he'll grow and someday leave, maybe raise a family. When I'm gone, I hope you'll see how happy she made me. For I'll be there in my child's eyes.
Jill manages the balance and told her she can flip the sandwich.
We're going to bless our offering. So we're grateful for the givers of these gifts and for this offering and for the work that it will do through this ministry and beyond these walls. We're so grateful for an abundant universe. We know as we give, we receive, and that we can never outgive God. We can never outgive all that is. This time of spring, we see the renewing of that rebirthing energy in our trees and our plants and in our energy as well, as we see spring is on the horizon sooner than later. So we know that there's no end to the abundance of God. We are grateful. Amen. And so today is Celebration Sunday. Yay! So if you have anything to celebrate, come on up and share it with us. Anniversary, birthday, something new, something old. Don't be shy.
Bonnie told me I had to come up here. We're celebrating 45 years of marital bliss.
I'm celebrating Kenny in the back.
What?
You're supposed to be here, Kenny.
Oh, sorry, it's my birthday.
He's working.
His birthday. I'm also celebrating my sister being here, living with me now. Well, not with me, but she's in London now. For good.
I'm celebrating all month because I'm going to turn 65.
Wow.
And I thought, oh, I'm not going to live that long. And I'm so grateful to be here. And so all month, it's my birthday.
On May 27th, I will celebrate my 70th birthday. And I just feel so blessed about my life. I feel blessed about the challenges, and I feel blessed about all the wonderful things that have come my way. And I also feel very thankful for all of you here at Unity, because you do enrich me in so many ways.
And Bonnie, did you say May 27th? Okay, so Bob's birthday is May 27th, and I want to celebrate that May 27th, 2006, there was a big hoopla, dinner, dance, and I was the guest of honor, but my husband stood up and said, "Thank you everyone for coming for my birthday," when in essence it was my ordination. So I'm celebrating 13 years being ordained. So let's stand and sing together. Celebrate mothers. Thank them for the spiritual wisdom and the love that they share with the world in their own unique way. And thank you to each of you who are mothers, that you have blessed the generation behind me, and they are blessing the generation behind them. We have such a beautiful ripple effect. And so we pray our prayer for protection. The light of God surrounds us, the love of God enfolds us, the power of God protects us, and the presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Yay, God!
Spread the word of what unity can offer. Spread the word of the message that you heard. Spread the word of what Jesus in your life. Spread the word, spread the word, spread the word, spread the word of all the things we shared this morning. Spread the word that you're surrounded you, my love. Spread the word. Our doors and hearts are open. Spread the word, spread the word, spread the word, spread the word. To anyone who's lost and lonely, spread the word. We extend the hand of love, spread the word. Spirit welcomes all who join us. Spread the word, spread the word, spread the word, spread the word of what unity can offer.
everybody.